Hello, you're welcome to Its Monitor, committed to your tutorial well-being. In one of my videos, I was able to talk about shock, causes of shock, um, types of shock, clinical features of shock, and management of shock. That is pre-hospital management and hospital-based management of shock. How we can manage shock at home, and of course, how we can manage it in the hospital. But then I was unable to shed light on types of shock, their causes, and of course their clinical features. So today let's quickly look into types of shock, their causes, their clinical features, and so on and so on, like that. So types of shock are: we have hypovolemic shock, we have cardiogenic shock, we have anaphylactic shock, we have septic shock, and of course we have neurogenic shock. Now to hypovolemic shock. What is hypovolemic shock? What are the causes of hypovolemic shock, and what are the clinical features of hypovolemic shock? Hypovolemic shock occurs as a result of loss of intravascular fluid volume. The volume loss may be either absolute or relative. Absolute as in loss of fluid from diarrhea, vomiting, heamorage, dieresis, and so on like that. And relative as in loss of fluid from vascular space into the extravascular space, third spacing. Having said that, causes of hypovolemic shock are excessive internal external bleeding, severe burns, excessive diarrhea and vomiting, and the likes. So clinical features of hypovolemic shock may include pale, crude, calmmy skin, weak trend pulse, hypotension, tachycardia or tachypnea, restlessness and anxiety, excessive thirst, and so on like that. So let's quickly look into cardiogenic shock. What is cardiogenic shock? What are the causes of cardiogenic shock, and of course clinical features of cardiogenic shock? Cardiogenic shock occurs when either systolic or diastolic dysfunction of the pumping action of the heart results to reduced cardiac output. That is, when there is a reduction in cardiac output due to dysfunction of the pumping action of the heart, it may lead to cardiogenic shock. Causes of cardiogenic shock are myocardial infarction, heart failure, cardiac tamponage, severe hypertension, cardiomyopathy, and so on like that. And clinical features of cardiogenic shock may include pale, crude, clammy skin, third heart sound, hypotension, distended neck vein, peripheral edema, decreased urinary output, and so on like that. Having said that, let's now quickly look into anaphylactic shock. Anaphylactic shock occurs as a result of an acute and life-threatening hypersensitivity, that is allergic reaction to sensitizing substance such as chemicals, drugs, vaccine, insect venom, food, and so on like that. Their causes may include snake or insect venom, anesthetic agents, blood transfusion, vaccines, some drugs, and so on like that. So clinical features of anaphylactic shock may include warm, moist skin, light headache and dizziness, swelling of the lips and tongue, wheezing or strident respiration, diffuse erythema, pruritus or urticaria, and there may be abdominal cramps, dyspnea, and of course there could be urinary incontinence. Having said that, now let's quickly look into septic shock. What is septic shock? Their causes and of course their clinical features. Septic shock occurs as a result of blood poisoning, that is, which is medically called septicemia. It occurs as a result of blood poisoning, and their causes are septic abortion, septic wound, postpartum infection, severe genitourinary tract infection, and so on and so on like that. So their clinical features may include warm moist skin, chills and fever, full banding pulse, ecchymosis, tachypnea, and so on and so on like that. Having said that, let's now quickly look at the last one, which is neurogenic shock. What is neurogenic shock? What causes neurogenic shock, and of course clinical features of neurogenic shock. Neurogenic shock occurs as a result of interference with the ability of the brain to regulate the nervous system. When there's an interference with the ability of the brain to regulate nervous system, it may lead to neurogenic shock, and their causes are severe pain, sudden bad news, emotional stress, spinal anesthesia, spinal cord injury, some drugs such as opioid, benzodiazepine, and so on like that. And their clinical features may include warm dry skin, full regular pulse, hypotension, tachypnea, nausea and vomiting, and convulsion progressing to unconsciousness. I hope with this we'll be able to know what shock is all about, causes of shock, types of shock, the clinical features, and how we can manage shock. So our discussion today is on types of shock, which include hypovolemic shock, cardiogenic shock, septic shock, anaphylactic shock, and neurogenic shock. So on this note, I would like to say thank you for watching. Please and please, just like we used to say, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is packaging 1-4. There's no space between that packaging and 14 is packaging 14. So till I come your way next, always remember, health is wealth. I'm Elma Olatoji, and I say stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you. Bye bye.